Welcome to Dateline SAU, your source for the latest news and sports from St. Ambrose University. I'm Charles Hart.
And I'm Katie Link. While many members of the St. Ambrose University community enjoyed a week off last week for Thanksgiving, a group representing SAU was participating in a worldwide conference. Over the break, the St. Ambrose Model UN Club traveled to the American Model United Nations Conference in Chicago, where they performed the role of a delegate representing the United States.
All of the Model UN people get together and we ride down in a 15-passenger van, all crammed in. And we go and we do what we love, which is debating world affairs. A resolution was drafted by the body that condemned the usage of migrants as political weapons. And then afterwards we get to hang out together. We get to hang out in Chicago for a day.
The Chicago event is one of the largest of its kind, inviting about 1,500 students and faculty from around the world. The St. Ambrose Model UN Club will next travel to a conference in February. This time they will represent the Russian Federation as well as Ukraine.
A new art exhibit is on display in the Morrissey Gallery located in the Galvin Fine Arts Center. The theme is Where I Come From. The exhibit is part of the annual College of Arts and Sciences project series. This year's theme is entitled Rebuilding Community. The exhibit displays work from students in the History of Graphic Design course. The students' original artwork represents their origins and how those roots have affected who they are today. The exhibit is on display until January 10th.
This week, St. Ambrose University took part in the global generosity movement Giving Tuesday. The director of annual giving, Margaret Babbitt, says there's something life-changing about being a part of this fundraiser.
What does that necessarily mean?
Right now we're really focused on Ambrose for All, which are unrestricted annual scholarships. And that allows the university to build packages for any student who wants to come to St. Ambrose to be able to attend. And right now, those are so important for everybody. And we just feel that the donors can have a very, very specific impact by giving essentially the gift of a St. Ambrose education to a deserving student.
Since 2012, Giving Tuesday has been recognized worldwide on the Tuesday after Thanksgiving.
St. Ambrose University is hosting two separate winter commencement ceremonies at the end of the semester. The graduate school ceremony will be held at 9 a.m. Saturday, December 18th. The undergraduate ceremony will follow that afternoon at 1 p.m. Dr. Micah Keel, a professor in the theology department, will give the address for the graduate and doctoral hooding and commencement ceremony. Keel is a recognized biblical scholar who has taught at SAU since 2007. Jim Hannon, the director of the university's physical plant, will provide the commencement address for the undergraduate ceremony. He has worked in the maintenance department since 1985 and has been its director since 2001. The two ceremonies will be held at the River Center in downtown Davenport.
With the holidays fast approaching, SAU students are hard at work practicing for the upcoming Ambrosian Christmas concert. The St. Ambrose community can celebrate the holiday season with members of the Symphonic Band, Jazz Band, and the University Chorale and Chamber Singers in concert in the Galvin Fine Arts Center on Saturday, December 11th at 3 p.m.
We're singing Christus Natus Est, and then a Norwegian piece called Jair So Glad, and then Royal David City, I think it's called, and African Noel.
Both vocal groups are also performing at Lessons and Carols in Christ the King Chapel the night before, Friday, December 10th at 7 p.m.
The St. Ambrose Jazz Band welcomed a new guitarist this year. Freshman Owen Crowder says he relishes being in a college ensemble, working to fill the shoes of those who played before him.
I've been doing jazz band since the 7th grade, so it was definitely something I knew that I wanted to do here, and I was glad that I'm glad that I was offered. There definitely are some advantages to having multiple people in your section, but I do really enjoy kind of just being my own and learning my part and kind of seeing how I fit in as an individual, how I can fit better into the sound. It's just making music with a certain amount of people. It's nice to be able to do.
Crowder is performing with the jazz band as a part of the Ambrosian Christmas concert.
The St. Ambrose men's volleyball team hosted an alumni tournament on Saturday, November 21st. Dateline SAU's Jamie Hennekins was at the event.
Former St. Ambrose men's volleyball players were back on campus for an alumni tournament.
It's been a lot of fun, getting a chance to throw it back like it's 2015 and play with Lynch and the rest of the guys, and also a chance to see what the current iteration of the Ambrose team has to offer.
Anderson's alumni team had a chance to compete against the current SAU men's volleyball team at the tournament. The alumni team won in just 2 overtime sets.
It's always fun to play the current Ambrose guys. We had a very strong team when we were here, so it's always super competitive. We love to try to beat up on the younger guys, and I know, they want to show off for us too, so it's always a really competitive game.
The current St. Ambrose team came out on top and won the entire tournament at the end of the day.
The alumni tournament was followed by a banquet held in the Rogalski Center where all participating teams were invited to have a dinner and reflect on old memories. The 2022 St. Ambrose men's volleyball team will start its season in late January.
Coming up in sports, the women's basketball team is enjoying one of its best starts in recent history.
And there are some big changes coming to the St. Ambrose Fighting Bee football team. We'll have these stories and more coming up after the break.
On Dateline SAU.
We're more than a radio station. We're your neighbors, investing time in our community. We're mentors, guiding the next generation of broadcasters. We're supporters of veterans, partners with social service agencies, and investigators of history. We're dedicated sports fans. We're committed to the stories that make the Quad Cities unique. We are KALA Radio, 88.5 FM, 106.1 FM. Turn it on, turn it up.
After 15 seasons at the helm of the Fighting Bee football program, head coach Mike Magistrelli announced he is stepping down from the position to pursue other opportunities outside of football. Magistrelli took over the SAU football program in 2007. He is the longest tenured coach in school history. The announcement was made at a press conference on Monday morning, just hours after he had informed the team Sunday night.
It's a decision that was kind of a long time coming, right? A lot of thought and time went into making the decision and making sure I was making the right decision, those type of things. And one of the things I talked to the players about was embracing change. Change is always an opportunity for improvement and development, and this is no different for the program and those type of things. But it was certainly difficult to look in the eyes of players that you've recruited and worked with and those type of things, and tell them that, hey, this is it.
We want the best things for him, and this was what he felt was best for him. So now we do what I get paid to do, which is we fill that spot with the most capable person we can find and make sure kids have a great experience, and we can keep the program going forward.
Magistrelli's teams compiled a 90-63 overall record and qualified for the NAIA National Playoffs 4 times. His teams also excelled in the classroom, earning a cumulative GPA of at least a 3.0 in each of the last 7 semesters. The search for a new coach is underway. The men's wrestling squad hosted William Penn in Lee Loman Arena on Tuesday night. Coach Bo Bettinson and his wrestlers looked to turn the tide after marking a 1-2 record at the Northwestern Duels. The men got out to a hot start and a big 14-0 lead with help from Riley Woods defeating William Penn's Troy Maida for 5 points at the 141-pound weight class. Diego Mercado then contributed 6 points of his own with the only SAU pin of the night against his statement opponent, Hector Diaz, to extend the Bees' lead to 20, and the crowd loved every minute of it. But with 6 matches left on the night, the competition was far from over. The Statesmen went on a 15-point roll to get within 5 of the Bees. SAU's Dylan Miners would be up next on the mat to take on Mason Walters. It was simply no contest for Miners, as he made easy work of the Statesmen, claiming a 9-2 decision to extend the Bees to an 8-point lead. But William Penn would claim the final 2 matches of the night, winning the heavyweight match by a pin to escape Lilo Arena with a 24-23 decision. The men will next host Grandview University at home on Friday, December 10th. The St. Ambrose women's basketball team looked to make it 3 wins in a row when they hosted the Lincoln College Lynx in Lilo Arena on Wednesday night. The Bees jumped out to an early 12-0 run that provided them with the energy and cushion needed to maintain a large lead throughout the game. The starting lineup combined for 62 points, and Avery Everts came off the bench to contribute 10 points of her own. St. Ambrose also outshot Lincoln by 32 points in the paint to bring home another big win. The women will next travel to Trinity International on Saturday to try for 4 in a row. The men's basketball team hoped to tally their 3rd win in a row when they hosted Lincoln College on Wednesday night, but the men struggled at the hoop, shooting at less than 30% to fall behind the Lynx early on. And while the Bees led the game in rebounds, they also led in turnovers to give Lincoln the offensive advantage. Nolan Griffin and Tom Kazanicki were the only 2 Bees to mark double-digit points in the loss. The men will look to flip their momentum as they begin a 4-game road campaign at Trinity International on Saturday. 2 St. Ambrose seniors, Nolan Rudd and Matt Jung, competed in the NAIA Cross Country National Championships November 20th in Vancouver, Washington. Rudd finished 63rd, the 4th highest finish ever for a St. Ambrose men's runner. Jung, who qualified for the Nationals for 4 straight years, placed 278th in the 330 runner field. Both student athletes will now turn their attention to the indoor track season. The men's bowling team had another impressive showing as they captured the championship at the 16-team National Match Games Tournament in Fairview Heights, Illinois. It was their 3rd Tier 1 championship in program history. Meanwhile, the women placed 4th out of 13 teams in their division. And that's all for sports this week from St. Ambrose University. I'm Cameron Giampalo.
And that's all we have for you on this edition of Dateline SAU.
We'll be back next week for the latest news and sports from St. Ambrose University.
Remember to check out the SAU TV Facebook and Instagram pages for our newscasts, late-breaking news, and more.
You can also find news stories and videos on The Hive at sauthebuzz.com.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next week.